Okay, very quickly, chat. A new mid-season patch has already dropped 3 weeks into the season. This is the pre-BlizzCon patch that's just quickly getting out into the game right now. Let's blast through these and I'll give you my quick thoughts. So first of all, LeSeraphim and the Overwatch 2 LTM is coming out. We saw a trailer for that already, but LeSeraphim has an in-game music collaboration. You can play Concert Clash, a 3v3, capture the flag mode set in the K-pop themed Busan. You can play as Diva, Kiriko, Tracer, Brig, and Sombra, decked out in the LeSeraphim skins. LTM begins Wednesday, November 1st at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and what is that, 7 p.m. UTC. General updates, the endorsements, the level decay has been reworked to be more forgiving in some circumstances. The endorsement level always decays slightly when you finish the match, but the decay is now reduced by the percentage of players who could not have endorsed you. Obviously, if you guys play in groups of with friends, you can't endorse your friends. So if they're your friend or they endorse you within 24 hours, it will prevent others from endorsing you, right? So the decay no longer occurs when the server shuts down as well. So if you guys love your endorsement levels, there you go. For challenges, they added a couple of title challenges for the progression. Cool. Victory pose now shows your progression level instead of your hero level. Very nice. Social features. The default option for the match text chat is now set to off, previously on for new players. So I think if it's already on right now for all chat for you guys, it still stays on, but for new players who make a new account, it's gonna be off by default. Honestly, not a bad choice. People flame all the time, but hey, you know, it is what it is. The default option for voice chat is now on, previously set to auto for new players. Whatever your settings are now, it's okay. Current text or voice chat settings for existing players are not changed. There you go. Okay, so that's the small stuff. Let's get into the actual balance patch. Diva, first change they're adding to her is 2 buffs. Looks like the movement speed penalty is being reduced from 40 to 30%. So while you shoot your gun, you can actually move a little quicker. And the projectile speed of the micro missiles is better, which means they fly a little bit quicker. So it's better at mid-range. When you're up close to a person, it doesn't really make a difference anyways, but yeah. The devs comment that the added projectile speed to micro missiles helps improve consistency at medium range, while the decreased movement speed penalty at fusion cannons enables Diva to stick closer to mobile targets, making her more of a threat when diving into the enemy team. So it's a decent change. It won't like change her significantly, like it's not going to swing the balance and all of a sudden make it a Diva meta. She's inching towards almost meta when the other tanks and supports probably get nerfed. Doomfist, actual nerfs to the CC. The rocket punch minimum wall stun duration decreased from 0.25 to 0.15. The maximum wall stun duration decreased from 0.75 to 0.6. So the range of 0.25 to 0.75, you know, when you're empowered, the stun is doubled, I believe, when you hit the wall. So this will be 0.3 to 1.2 versus 1.5. It'll be more noticeable on full charge with empowered, more so than the minimum stuff. So Doom CC, a little bit nerfed. I'm actually okay with this. It does get a little annoying getting ping-ponged around all the time, so I'm fine with that. Doom's already pretty decent right now, if I'm gonna be honest. Winston, he's now a sniper monkey again. Secondary fire range increased from 30 to 40 meters, so you can snipe him across. That's good. It gives him a bit more flexibility to poke before all-inning. Bastion's much needed nerfs coming in. The configuration assault, the cooldown is being increased from 10 to 12 seconds, and the weapon spread is being increased by 10%. Minor nerf, the bigger nerf is the cooldown. If you have 10 to 12 seconds, a 20% longer cooldown to transform into his what everybody would consider his stronger state. So you have a bigger window of 12 seconds to punish him when he's not in that transformed state. That's good. Cass actually getting a nerf. I think Cass actually has an awful win rate. His hero identity is just to play a close range 225 HP tanky hit scan. They're actually nerfing the cooldown of magnetic grenade from 10 to 12 seconds. Cass is already kind of meh in this meta because he's kind of like, a lot of the meta is like more pokey with Sigma being meta. He was fine at 10 seconds. He has his like niche where he's kind of like an anti-Doomfist and an anti-Ball because they have to come into you. And honestly, it's sort of an anti-Winston in some ways, but not like, I wouldn't say counter pick, but like, you know, his role is not to like be a mid to long range hit scan. It's to actually annoy tanks up close. And this is kind of moving him away from that. That's his identity. Other heroes like Ashe or Hanzo or whatever, or Hanzo's a projectile, are better at the mid to long ranges. Same with Sojourn. Interesting nerf to cast. Don't know if he needs this. May's actually really meta right now. We can see in the Overwatch World Cup when they reverted her. Interesting Mei nerf. This is actually not that bad. 40 to 30%. I still think Mei is really good. The slow is pretty negligible. Like obviously you can feel the slow, but 30% slow is still a lot. Mei is still very much meta, as you can see. Sombra, the ultimate cost decreased by 10%. I actually am okay with this. When the Sombra rework came in, I think a lot of metal rank players and under are finding her very hard to deal with, because if she hits a virus, she pretty much one clips you. But at the higher levels, I will say Sombra feels pretty meh. She actually doesn't feel that strong. She's very opportunistic and just not as reliable as like a Tracer at the higher levels, unless you run full Sombra Tracer dive. I don't think we're seeing any Sombra in the World Cup right now, probably because A, lack of practice, and B, yeah, you just need a little bit of awareness, because awareness is the biggest counter to Sombra. A little bit of awareness and you just heal the person who's getting jumped on, and then you can just chase the Sombra. So Sombra needs a little bit of help, which is a lower cost of EMP. I'm fine with that. Symmetra actually getting nerfed. Her base shield health is being reduced from 125 back to 100, so she's back at 200 HP. I don't think she ever needed 225 HP anyways. Symmetra and Mei and Bastion are getting played all the time in World Cup right now, because Sim is always good in Brawl. With Symmetra recently getting more lethality in her long-range secondary fire, she's no longer as reliant on playing on close range, so we're reverting her total health back to 200. That's fine. 200 HP is fine for her. Widowmaker. These look like two buffs, but they're pretty minor. Widow's Kiss. The unscoped shots required to reach maximum spread increase from 3 to 7. Okay, who the heck is SMGing Widow? Severe disadvantage against Sombra, so at least allows you to SMG the Sombra down, I guess. So it's Widow 76. And then the ultimate cost for Infrasights down by 10%. That's okay. They didn't really touch her one shot. She's still 175 HP. These are very, very minor buffs to Widowmaker. That's okay with me. It's not a big deal. I hate playing against Widowmakers, but this is pretty negligible. But it does help in that one specific Sombra matchup. Supports. Blizzard has heard you, chat. Blizzard is nerfing supports. First of all, the Biotic Nade cooldown from 10 to 12 seconds. That's a 20% nerf to its overall uptime. It's not like you're throwing the cooldown, nade off cooldown every time. You could definitely feel this, but she's not dead by any means. The anti-effect is still very strong when you land it. She's fine. I still think they could have made Biotic Nade like a healing reduction the whole time or something like that. Or maybe have the anti-effect on tanks, but no, this is not the end. Baptiste, health decreased for the immortality field from 150 to 125, cooldown 23 to 25. I actually don't even think this is that big of a deal either. This is not even that big of a nerf. The value of Lamp is the moment you put it down to save someone from like a pulse bomb or whatever. The health of the immortality field, not a big deal. You could probably even bring it down to 100 and it'd still be okay. The cooldown 23 to 25, it's pretty negligible. This one you might feel a little bit. This one you don't feel as much. It's already a long cooldown. You get the value of it the moment you put it down. Team fight's over. 1 usage per fight. Ooh, this is a big one. Solar Rifle primary fire projectile size being reduced from 0.1 to 0.05. That's cut in half. Obviously, if you guys play Ashe, Cass, you'll notice if you try to shoot a bullet right beside a hero's hitbox, you have to be very precise. So the reason why Illari's been feeling good for everybody, and it feels like every DPS can hit all their shots, is because even though she's a hit scan, don't get it confused, a hit scan is just an instant registration of a projectile that's fired when you press your click. So now you have to be a bit more precise. This was the same issue with Sojourn in Season 1, where her railgun shot projectile size, even though it's hit scan, was really thick. So now they made Sojourn's rail scale with energy. If you have low energy, the rail size hit scan is smaller, like a real bullet, and then it expands to like an energy hit scan. So this is a big nerf. Pylon is also getting nerfed. Base health being reduced from 75 to 50, which means it's 50 base health, white health, and 50 shield health. And the cooldown when destroying it is increased from 12 to 15 seconds. So Pylon's uptime will be lower as a result of this, and this one will reduce her damage quite a bit as well. This is a pretty interesting change. Kiriko's Suzu cooldown 14 to 15 seconds. If I said this was a mosquito bite nerf for BAP, this is like a fucking like fire ant bite. Or actually, which one's worse, a mosquito bite or a fire ant bite? Okay, this one's a fire ant bite. This one's like a mosquito bite. Like relatively speaking, 10 to 12 is a 20%. What's 14 to 15? That's like less than, it's like an 8% nerf. Something like that. Weaver, wow, Weaver nerfs, holy. Healing Blossom, ammo reduced from 20 to 16. This is okay, because usually after you pump a bunch of Healing Blossoms, if you shoot your Thorn Volley, it will auto-reload your Healing Blossom anyways. This is meh, but the max heal from 75 to 70 is a, this one you might feel if you're a full charge Life Weaver. I never really full charged it anyways, so maybe these are like, I love how everyone's like overreacting with the supports. I love it. Keep the reactions going. Support's dead. Support's weak. We must buff them. And then Life Weaver's Life Grip, the cooldowns increase from 16 to 19. This one you'll feel a bit more. I actually don't think the Healing Blossom change here you'll feel if you spam the if you never spam full charge heals and you swap to your Thorn Volley quite a bit. You can probably offset this, but this one you'll feel. And finally, these Zenyatta changes are kind of crazy. Number one, though, his health going back from 50 to 75 to 225 is actually pretty. 225 HP changes breakpoints, chat. So this is how he was in the beta. He makes him tankier. He has a lot of natural shield health, so he is back to 225, so he's not as vulnerable. Harmony Orb is a buff here, where the time to wear off when you're not in line of sight is increased from 3 to 5 seconds. So there's a more forgiveness if someone breaks your line of sight. So your Harmony Orb stays on someone. Buff. But Discord nerfs. You can no longer reapply the Discord to the same target for 7 seconds. Because one of the biggest complaints as a Reinhardt is like if you just break line of sight as Rein, like they just reapply the Discord on you permanently and it's hard to play the game. So now you can't constantly reapply it. That actually adds some counterplay, so Discord's not as frustrating to play against. It's actually a good change for tank players. Yeah, I understand the complaint of like tanks, like obviously like you basically just walk around, the Discord's always on you. 7 seconds is a long time. It's okay when you're like, you have a Discord up front and then there's a flanker jumping you a Zen, you can still apply the Discord on a flanker, but if you put it off by accident, that's gonna be pretty bad. Hard to say how this will feel like, but 7 seconds is quite crazy, but they're compensating him with 3 buffs. Big nerf, 3 minor buffs. Actually, the base health being increased is pretty good, so we'll have to see how he plays out. Maybe it's not as bad as it sounds, but on paper, 7 seconds is kind of tough. What if I like Discord 5 people really quickly? Can I not apply Discord at all till the first one runs out? I think there is an indicator. Let's read the dev comments. The goal of these changes is to add more counterplay against Discord Orb and encourage Zen players to think more about who to place it on. Now, if the effect ends for any reason, like the target is temporarily unable to be targeted again by Discord, a new soft targeting reticule appears when aiming towards an enemy that cannot be affected by Discord Orb to display the remaining duration before it can be reapplied. This is a significant change to how the ability feels to use and how clear it is to understand, so we will be keeping a close eye on player feedback. All right, so don't overreact. Let's voice Zen players. I'm a Zen player. The tank players had their moment of bitching about our role, but I, as your support representative, will say we're reasonable people. So let's not overreact. Let's try it out first, and then we'll see how it feels. That's it for the balance patch. Pretty big mid-season patch. This is 3 weeks into the season. Blizzard is actually kicking the gear up. That's crazy. They're going in. A new set of patch here. What is this? Hero custom control updates. We're implementing quality of life options for several heroes. Okay, so Doomfist. Relative aim sensitivity during power block. So you can actually have a different sensitivity while you're blocking. Gyro for controller players. Gravitic Flux. Rise during Gravitic Flux with ability 3. What's the ability 3 button? Ability 1, shift. Ability 2 is E. What the heck is ability 3? There's another button you can press to rise. Oh, Q, maybe. Right now, most people, when they want to fly up with Gravitic Flux, they press the space bar anyways, right? So I guess now, if you press the ultimate, you can also rise up. I think most Sig players who are already used to it won't change it, but I mean, it's an extra option if you have small hands, you don't want to press the space bar with your thumb to go up. Sure. Echo. There's a couple of new settings here as well. Crouch activates glide, rise during flight with ability 1. Flight cancel, automatically toggle glide. So a couple of settings you have to mess with. Torb, interact, cancels deploy turret on by default. Rise during captive sun, same thing. It's probably your ultimate button. The Q ability helps you rise. Lucio, automatic wall ride is off by default. Only available on console platforms. Wall ride cares about movement. What the heck is this? Wall ride cares about movement. That's an interesting setting. I'll have to go in game and check what that does exactly, but probably it's like the direction you're going in or whatever, right? Oh, because obviously, like if you look up, you go higher. If you look down, don't bounce. You don't go down. Yeah, so it's probably matching where you're looking, so it cares. Mercy, crouch activates glide. Okay, by default, automatically toggled angelic descent after guardian angel. Ooh. And then rise during a Valkyrie with ability 3. Same thing with the other ones with Q to move up. Okay, I'll have to go in game and check the rest of them. But if you main any of these 7 or 8 heroes, go try all of them out and see how they feel and let me know. Rumble updates. We've gone through and adjusted rumble and trigger feedback abilities for controllers. All right, I don't play console, but if you're a console player, holy shit. Rumble trigger for all of these heroes. God damn. All right, controller players, rejoice. There you go. And then finally for bug fixes, What do we have this? Fixed an issue in the training grounds where the heavy training shield bots. Okay. Adjusted areas. Weapon fire can be heard. That's minor. Hero mastery. Okay. I don't play hero mastery for the heroes right now. So this is good for those who are still grinding that. Fixed a bug that would disband your group if you selected leave as group in comp. Thank God. Fixed a bug in Hero Guide that causes a UI to highlight another cosmetic. Okay. Friend zoned. People are getting friend zones to not unlocked. Okay. So you guys can get out of the friend zone finally. Fix an issue that resulted in roles being revealed via the scoreboard and mystery heroes. Okay. Fixed a bug that prevented player icons, random from favorites, AI, and custom. Okay, these are all minor things. Maps, Antarctic Peninsula, people got stuck. Fixed. Environment access floating. I'm trying to see what's competitive implications, chat. I'm just quick glossing over these. Oh, Alari tech. This one's fixed. So if you guys were paying attention, if you guys have been keeping up with Overwatch over the past little while, there was a tech where you put the healing pylon down and you jump, and then you can do like a little super jump. They resolved an issue with healing pylon that can result in players launching out of it, so you can no longer do the Alari pylon tech. Lifeweaver fixed pedal platform from falling when hacked. That was actually another game implication. Lucio, Hermes skin, fixed Sombra beam not falling out when stealth. Be beautiful, highlight intro. Sombra, previous update. Yeah. Orbs would not stay attached to a target. Ooh, this might have game implications for the orb. Sometimes when like, I think if a tracer recalls, it detaches your harmony orb, or like a Moira fades. Maybe they keep it now. Like, it wasn't consistent. I remember some heroes on your team who use those abilities, it would lose your orb. Offensively though, if you have a Discord on a tracer and she recalls, or like a Moira fades, your Discord should fall off, but there are some cases on friendly harmony orbs that were falling off on heroes who used disappearing abilities for a bit, but it wasn't consistent throughout. So this one I have to check the interactions with these ones. Okay, and that's it for the patch. This was a very, very big mid-season patch. Well, support's nerfed this patch. Discord's different. Go enjoy the game, everybody. Let me know what you guys think.